Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Easy Learn. And today's topic is the sine rule. And we're going to be doing some practice today. If you haven't watched my sine rule explanation video yet, pause right here, check the link in the description below, go understand the concept first, and then come back for solving. So today's question is this triangle, which is ABC, and it has a few lengths and a few angles. And my question is find the value of x, that's A part of the question, and the B part says calculate the length BC. Now, if you look carefully, I do have all three angles, but in this, I don't have a value. I have it in terms of x. Now, one thing that you're supposed to know is that if I want to find the value of x, or perhaps any angle in a triangle, I should be knowing this one important information that all three angles in a triangle are equal to 180 degrees, which means that if this angle is A, that one is B, and that one is C, then A plus B plus C is going to be equal to 180 degrees. Now that I have this information, I can just put this x, 2x minus 35 and 50 into this particular situation and equate it to 180 to find my x. So let me just take my a as, let's suppose, 2x minus 35, and then my b as x, and my c, I'm just going in order of this a, b, and c. So a is 2x minus 35, b is x, and c, let's suppose, is 50. All of that equals 180. Now, how do I solve this equation? Now, one thing that you need to know is that there's something called as like terms, and obviously the opposite of that is unlike terms. So, like terms is basically something that looks alike, or something that is from the same category, or it's from the same tree, family tree, you say. So it's something that is similar or same to one another. So if you look at this one, there is a 2x and it has an x with it. A 35 does not have an x with it. That means these two are unlike terms, and you can never add or subtract an unlike term. Like if I want to do 35 minus 2 and I just put it as 33x, that cannot work. That is not technically possible. So you have to always only solve your like terms, which means that if I have a 2x here, then the like term with the 2x is going to be my x, because both of them have a letter, have a variable with them. But the 35, this is unlike to 2x and also unlike to the x. But 35 has a like term, that is 50, because even 50 is a number and 35 is also a number. So I can take 35 and 50 as my like terms and 2x and x as my like terms. So whichever is your like term, only that can be solved with each other, which means that 2x will be solved with x. So 2x plus x gives me a 3x, and 50 minus a 35, or minus 35 plus 50, would give me 15. So 3x plus 15 is equal to 180. That's supposed to be the first part of my solving. And now I have to find my x, so I need to take everything that is attached with the x to the other side. Now, which means that if I have a 15, I have this 3, everything goes on the other side. But first, in order to isolate the x, I will be taking my 15 to the other side. Now 15 is positive on this side. When it goes to the other side, it turns into negative. So 3x is equal to 180 minus 15, which gives me 3x equals 180 minus 15 gives me 165. Now again, I have to make x the subject, or I need to isolate x, or I need to find the x. So I have to take the 3 also to the other side. So now this 3 is in multiplication with the x. When it goes to the other side, it turns into division. That's the rule. Anything goes to the other side, their state changes. Plus becomes minus, multiplication becomes division, and so on. So 3 goes to the other side, turns into division. So 165 over 3. So if you try that on your calculator, 165 over 3 is equal to 55, which means my x is equal to 55 degrees, which means this angle right here, that is B, becomes 55 degrees. Now, after I have this, again, I also need to just work out and write down my angle A. So 2x minus 35, for that I can just do 2 times the x, and x I have got as 55 minus 35. So 2 times 55 gives me 110, and 110 minus the 35 is going to give me 75. So my angle A is supposed to be 110 minus 35, that is 75 degrees. So this is my angle, 75 degrees. Now this triangle looks pretty cool and it looks pretty complete. I have three angles, that is 75 degrees, 55 degrees, and another one 50 degrees. Now moving on to the next part that says calculate the length of BC. Now putting it all clearly, so 75, 55, 50, and 12 centimeter is the length given to me as AC, and now they're asking the length BC. So this is the length that they are asking. Keeping in mind that when we're dealing with two lengths and two angles, we go ahead with the sine rule, and the sine rule says sine A over small a equals sine B over small b. Now, if I'm taking my sine A as this one, that is, if I'm taking this angle as my A, the sine A, then the length that is right opposite to that becomes my small a. So I'm going to write sine 75 over the length BC. You could write it as X or just write it as BC, whatever you want. Now comes my sine B. Now, if I want to try my 50 as my sine B, but as you can see that I don't have a length, I don't have the length AB that is right opposite to 50. That means I cannot use 50, because if I use 50, I will also need this length AB. So I'm going to kind of drop the idea of using 50. But can I use 55? Yes, I can, because I have this specific angle right here, and then I have a length that is right opposite to it, that is 12. So I'm just going to simply write down sine 55 over 12. Now, whenever you have an unknown length in the denominator, it's just best to take it to the other side and make it into a proper one-line equation, just so that you don't get confused in the end. So I'm going to take my BC to the other side, and I'm going to take 12 to the other side. You just cross multiply. So BC, when it's in division right now, when it goes to the other side, it turns into multiplication. Similarly, if 12 is in division over here, when it goes to the other side, it turns into multiplication. So I'm just going to do 12 times sine 75 equals BC times sine 55. So now, first thing, solve for 12 times sine 55. Sorry, 75. So in your scientific calculator, make sure your calculator is set on degrees, and then if I write 12 times sine 75, I get 11.591 and so on. So that's my answer for BC sine 55 is equal to 11.591 equals BC sine 55. Now, because I want my BC, I need to isolate it, and isolating means I need to make it the subject, and for that I need to get rid of the sine 55. So when sine 55 goes to the other side, because it's in multiplication here, when it goes to the other side it turns into division, and I have 11.591 divided by sine 55. So when I do that, again, you can check on your calculator. 11.59 divided by the sine 55 gives me 14.148 and so on, which means I'm just going to take my BC as 14.1. You generally take three significant figures or one decimal place. So 14.1 centimeter. Why centimeter? Because this length I can see is in centimeters. So obviously the BC is also going to be written as 14.1 centimeter. So that's my answer for BC. That's pretty much it. Hope you understood the question. If you have any questions, any confusions, drop them down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching Easy Learn. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Take care until next time.